Hello and welcome to the School of Biological Sciences at the University of Leicester. I'm Colin Hewitt and I'm the head of the School of Biological Sciences. What I want to do is I want to give you a brief introduction to the school, the research that goes on in the school and how that relates to the way that we actually teach our students. So normally, of course, we would be welcoming you to a nice sunny campus with all the magnolias and the forsythia out, but unfortunately, we all know why we're here, looking at computer screens. And what you would have done had you have come here on this open day, this offer holder day, is to experience the campus, talk to the people who are working here. You'd be able to talk to our student ambassadors, the staff. You'd be taken on a tour around the labs and around the accommodation, and you'd be able to try your hand at a few small experiments that we would run for you. And hopefully, if this crisis gets past us soon enough, you'll be able to come back to the campus before you actually start at university, and you'll be able to come and do all those things. Nevertheless, what I want to do is just to introduce you to the way in which we blend our research with our teaching, how everything that we teach our students is derived from cutting-edge research. I just want to run through some of the things that we actually do in the School of Biological Sciences in terms of research. Naturally, as you would expect, as a university with a medical school, we have a very strong medical arm to some of the things that we teach. So we have a very good cardiovascular sciences department, we have a neuroscience, behaviour and psychology department, we have a respiratory disease department, we have cancer and genomics department, and all of these build together in a science called precision medicine. The idea being that what we do is we analyse the genetics of individuals in each of these diseases, and then what we try to find is which types of genetic variation go best with which type of treatment, so that we can personalise medicine towards the people who are going to benefit most from each of the treatments. So this is one of the underlying principles of a lot of the work that we do here. We have a Precision Medicine Institute which gathers in all that data, that health data research into these huge great supercomputers that churn the data and produce results that allow our other scientists to use that data to develop novel treatments for disease. We also have an incredibly strong infectious disease group who are looking at food security. They're looking at infectious diseases. This one over here is Campylobacter. That's a bacterium that will be on most chickens that you buy. And this is the one that gives you the diarrhea that's normally associated with uncooked chicken. So we have people who are working on these, not just in humans, of course, but because this is a pathogen of chickens as well, or at least it lives in chickens, we're also looking at the way in which this organism works in a chicken as well as in a human. Because if you can find a way of stopping it growing in chickens, of course you stop it affecting the humans. Over here we have these things called bacteriophages. So this is work done by Professor Martha Clockey, who you will have heard probably on Radio 4's on Radio 4 talking to Jim Al-Khalili in the Life Scientific. What these are viruses, effectively, that infect different strains of bacteria. So for every strain of bacteria that could cause a disease, there will be a virus that can kill that bacterium. So what the idea is that in order to deal with the problem of antimicrobial resistance to antibiotics and such chemotherapies, what Martha is doing is she's developing these bacteriophages that could actually be used clinically to help resolve disease. Underlying all of this, of course, is the science of genetics. We're very famous in Leicester, of course, for our genetics. Sir Alec Jeffreys invented the whole process of DNA fingerprinting, which has now gone on to be developed further and is a basis of a lot of the forensics that's done by police forces and forensic scientists. But we also have an enormously strong genomics department. And these people here will be working with the precision clinicians to develop those variations in individual people that will respond to different types of treatments. We also do plant genetics. They're particularly good at plant genetics in terms of pollination. And here we're also interested in the genetics of eusocial populations. So a eusocial population is a population in which the adults of a species live as groups, they cooperatively care for their young, and they have a reproductive division of labour. So not all the individuals get to breed. So here we have a bumblebee. This is what Dr. Eamon Mallon works on. And what he's looking at is what happens if you take a queen, the only one who's allowed to produce, out of a colony of bumblebees. If you take a queen out of a colony of bumblebees, then what happens is that the other bees in that colony can alter the way that they use their DNA to actually become breeding bees. So they start to develop ovaries, and they start to develop queen-like behaviours. And that's what he's doing. He's looking at those changes in the DNA that actually allow a non-breeding bee to become a breeding bee should the queen die. So we're not just looking at medicine, we're looking at all sorts of things. We're looking at the actual way in which lower forms of life actually organise themselves in terms of evolutionary biology, and we're looking at plants and food security in terms of crops as well. Our other institute is the Institute of Structural Biology, the Leicester Institute of Structural and Chemical Biology. And this is a regional and indeed a national state-of-the-art research facility which features this wonderful machine here, a £600,000, a £6 million cryo-electron microscope. And what this can do is it can actually look at individual molecules. It can actually take a picture of an individual molecule and the way that that molecule interacts with another molecule to form macromolecular complexes like you have down here. And of course, if you can understand the way that molecules interact with each other, you've got a perfect way of working out how to disrupt interactions between molecules that would be beneficial to solving a disease problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Dr. Sally Pridgeon, who's our senior admissions tutor. And what she'll do is she'll take you through the details of the course and show you how, even as a student, you can be involved in this research in your final year project. You can actually be using these machines. You can actually be working on these phage down here in your final year project and contributing to scientific papers that influence the way that people think about the subjects that these people work on. Okay, so I'm going to hand you over to Sally now, and she'll tell you about the course.
Welcome to our first virtual offer holder day, and congratulations on receiving an offer for one of our degree programmes. My name's Sally Pridgeon, and I'm the senior admissions tutor here in Biological Sciences, and I'm only sorry that I won't get to meet you in person today. Your choice of university is a very important one, and also a very personal choice. I'm here today really just to give you the information about our degree programme so that you can make an informed decision on whether University of Leicester is for you. One thing I can say is if you come to Leicester, I'm pretty sure you'll be a happy student. And I can say this because in the National Student Survey last year, we were ranked 3rd in the UK for biosciences. And some of our degree programmes received 100% satisfaction rating, with a 96% satisfaction overall for biosciences. So in Leicester, we offer 11 different BSc degree programmes within biological sciences, and they generally fall within two flavours, if you like, the biological sciences and the medical sciences. And I'll take you through in the next few minutes the differences between the two different streams. So within biological sciences, you can choose to undertake a broad degree base and graduate with a degree in biological sciences, giving you lots of flexibility. Or most of our students, I think, tend to end up specialising in their preferred discipline. So you can graduate with a BSc Biological Sciences in biochemistry, for example, or genetics, microbiology, neuroscience, physiology and pharmacology, or zoology. For the medical sciences, we offer 4 different BSc degree programmes: medical biochemistry, medical genetics, medical microbiology, and medical physiology. And then for all of those 11 programmes, we also offer a 4-year option of an MBio-Sci, where you do an additional year at the end of your 3rd year. And then you would graduate with an MBio-Sci in biological sciences or your chosen discipline. In addition, we offer a foundation year, generally for students who have a lot of potential but weren't necessarily predicted the grades to enter year 1. Okay, so I'm going to briefly take you through our different degree programmes. Basically, in the first semester of the first year, all students, whichever degree stream they're on, will take the same modules, and those are the molecules of life and the cell. So basically, an introduction to biochemistry, cell biology, and microbiology. In the second semester, the biological sciences stream differs from the medical sciences stream by just 1 module. So all students take 2 common modules, from individuals to populations and multicellular organisation. So that's an introduction into genetics and to physiology. But the programmes differ just by 1 module. So biological science students will take a module called biodiversity and behaviour, which is a zoology module. And the medical sciences students will take a unique module called an introduction to medical biosciences. So they won't do the zoology module. And this medical bioscience module looks at topical medical conditions or topics, and they look at them from a multidisciplinary perspective. So, for example, currently one of the topics covered is cancer genomics. So that's studied from a biochemical aspect, genetic aspect, even a microbiology aspect. So basically, since all students take exactly the same modules in the first semester, this means that they can switch degree stream at the end of the first semester. Even at the end of the second semester, students can switch between biological sciences and any of the other biological science specialities, such as biochemistry, genetics, microbiology. And the medical science students can switch between any of the medical sciences. So, for example, between medical biochemistry and medical microbiology, for example, depending on what the students found the most interesting during their first year. So this gives students plenty of flexibility. The other advantage of having common modules in the first year is that it brings everybody up to speed with all the basic biological sciences. And that's really important because none of the disciplines stand alone. In order to understand the details of biochemistry, it's helpful to have a strong genetic background, for example. Also in the first year, we have an embedded StudyWell programme. And this is a programme which is designed to help the students adjust to university life, give them resilience, enable them to cope with the workload, and to be able to be happy and enjoy student life as well. Okay, so when you come to university, you'll find you have a very busy working week. In fact, if you have friends in the art subject, you might find that they don't seem to have to come into university quite as much as you do. So your typical working week would include, say, 10 lectures, 2 3-hour practicals, 1 or 2 tutorials. Some modules have drop-in clinics where you can come in and ask questions of your lecturers. You might have a computer class, but the vast majority of your time will be independent study. Typically, we say there are around 18 to 20 contact hours a week, and when you're not at university, you'll be busy writing up practicals, preparing for tutorials, perhaps preparing talks or posters. So you will be busy. However, you'll have plenty of support. So at Leicester we have a wonderful library with great learning spaces, computer suites where you can work, small rooms you can hire out for group work. All the lectures are captured and recorded, and they're then put online in our virtual learning environment, which is called Blackboard. So that means that after your lectures you can go back and listen to the bits you didn't quite understand. You can listen to them as many times as you like. We like to stress they're not a substitute for attending lectures, but they're there to support you. You will also have a personal tutor, and this is me. You'll be assigned a personal tutor within biological sciences, and they'll be your first port of call if you ever have any problems. You'll have 4 structured meetings a year with your personal tutor to discuss such things as how you're settling in, to go through feedback on your assignments to make sure you understand the positive feedback and what you can do to improve. After your exams, you'll meet with your tutor to review your progress, and you'll meet with your tutor to choose your modules for the second year. So some of our students are interested in studying medicine, and we have the option to apply for a transfer to the first year of the medical degree programme at the end of the first year of biological sciences. And it doesn't matter which degree stream you are registered for, you have this opportunity to apply to transfer to medicine. However, I should say it's very competitive. You need to be getting very good first class marks, above 70%. You need to have the appropriate A-level subjects, so at least a B in biology or chemistry, GCSE maths and English at grade 6 or above, an up-to-date UCAT score, and you need to show an ongoing commitment to medicine by perhaps volunteering activities. And if you meet these criteria, then you will be selected for an interview, and these mini interviews will determine whether you can actually transfer onto the first year of our programme. And just to give you an idea of the statistics, so in 2019, 49 students applied for transfer to medicine, 23 were interviewed and 19 were successful. So it's a competitive process, but it's a realistic opportunity if you're interested in studying medicine. Okay, so that's the year 1 taken care of. In year 2, this is where you begin to specialise. So the first year was common to all biological science students or all medical science students, but here you begin to specialise. And I'll take you through this briefly. I'm not going to go through all the modules that are available, but basically in the first semester there's one core module that all students take, which is called the research topic, where you work in groups on a particular scientific topic. And you take 3 additional modules in the first semester and 4 in the second semester from these shown. So if you're a general biological science student, you have pretty much a free choice of modules in the second year. However, if you want to specialise, you need to take specific combinations. I'm just going to give you an example. If you were specialising in biochemistry, you would need to take the core modules molecular cell biology and biochemistry of nucleic acids. And in addition, you would need to take one of these 2 modules, protein control and cellular regulation, or bioinformatics, or you could take both. So depending on your degree stream, there will be different combinations of core modules. And then based on the modules which are core to your degree stream, you may have the opportunity to take additional modules from the other selection. So for example, in semester 1, you would have a choice of 2 additional modules to complement your interest in biochemistry. So that's just one example. So that's the biological science year 2. If you're doing one of the medical sciences, you have the same options that the biological science students have, but you will have one degree-specific core module. And these are the core modules for medical biochemistry, medical genetics, medical microbiology, and medical physiology. So you'll take one of these core modules and build up sufficient credits from the other modules which are on offer. So of particular interest to the zoologists and the biological science applicants, we offer a number of different field courses. So in the second year we offer 2 field trips. One, a field guide to evolution in Mallorca. Unfortunately, that's due to be happening now, so that has had to be cancelled this year. And conservation biology in the East Midlands. And then in the third year, we also offer field courses, so subtropical ecology and physiology in Brazil, and behavioural ecology in Devon. So these are subject to change from year to year, but these are what we've offered in the past. So at the end of your second year, we try to encourage students to get some experience. It's a competitive market out there, and anything you can do to enhance your CV and make yourself stand out from the other students when you're applying for jobs will put you at an advantage. So we try to encourage students to at least perhaps consider a 6 to 8 week summer lab placement in one of our research labs, and there are organisations to which you can apply for financial support. Or if you'd like to do a more extended period, either abroad or in industry, this is an option as well. We offer a year abroad, and countries where students have recently spent their year abroad include the USA, Japan, Canada, Finland, the Netherlands, Germany and Italy. And we really hope that we'll be able to continue with this programme in the coming year. The other option we have is a year in industry, where students can spend a year working at, for example, a pharmaceutical company, but it doesn't have to be a pharmaceutical company. It could be working, for example, in clinical trials or gaining some significant experience in a work setting. So these are competitive programs, but there are dedicated academic staff who support you in applications for these programs. Okay, so you've completed your second year, maybe you've spent a year abroad or a year in industry. You come to your final year, and this is the first chance you have to do some real original research, and your project forms a major part of your final year. And the projects come in 4 different flavours. The traditional experimental project, if you were to take this, you would work with a team of researchers alongside PhD students and postdocs, and you would have your own individual experimental project. And this is just an example of one such project targeting stem cells for cancer prevention, but you'll be given a wide choice of projects to choose from. If you think you might like to have a future in education, you may prefer to do an educational project, in which case you'll be based in a school environment with support from the university, and you will possibly do some educational based research. For example, can iPads improve learning for year 4 age children? Or you may be developing a teaching resource at the school. If you're not particularly interested in experimental work, you have the opportunity to do an analytical project in which you work alongside an expert and you're given data to analyse, or you can research the literature and do a literary-based project, and we call this an analytical project. Or if you'd like to do experimental work but you don't really want to work on your own in a research team, you can take a steered experimental project in which you'll work as a group of students doing related research projects, but you'll be working in a group setting. The difference between these projects, the first two, the experimental project and the educational project, these span the first and second semester, whereas the analytical project and the steered experimental projects are only taken in semester 1 and giving you the opportunity to take an additional module in semester 2. So alongside your project in the final year, you'll take modules to build your degree. So for example, if you're a biological sciences student, in semester 1 you would pick 2 modules from the choices shown here on the left, and 3 or 4 modules from semester 2, depending on what type of project you undertook. If you're a biological science student, you'll have a pretty free choice, but certain modules will have prerequisites from the second year. If you're specialising in one of the different disciplines, there will be specific core modules that you will need to take. So I've illustrated examples here for physiology and pharmacology, the core modules shown in red, and then 2 or 3 from the modules shown in blue. And there'll be different combinations for the different degree streams. And then if you have the option to take any modules, so if you didn't take molecular cellular neuroscience here as one of the options, you could pick a different choice from a related discipline. And then for the medical sciences, it's a similar story. You have the option of the same modules. You'll have specific core modules that you'll need to take depending on you're a biochemist, a geneticist, or a microbiologist, or a physiologist. But for each of those degree streams, there will be one degree-specific core module, which will be in semester 2. So you would take the degree-specific module, and then you would take the remaining choices from the modules that are available to all biological sciences students, depending on which of the medical sciences you're taking. And finally, for our 4-year courses, we offer the Foundation Biological Sciences with Foundation Year and the MBio-Sci. And for those students taking a foundation year, they'll cover the modules indicated on the left. And basically, it's designed to bring all the students up to the same level and to expose them to the types of learning and teaching that you'll experience at university. For the MBio-Sci students, you'll take the normal 3-year BSc degree, plus a year abroad if that's what you've chosen, and you'll do an additional year. And in this additional year, you'll essentially take the taught phase of one of our MSc programs, plus a 3-month research project based in one of the research labs. And I've indicated here the different MSc programs which you can align to. So if you come to Leicester, and we really hope you will choose to come to Leicester, who's going to be teaching you? Well, most of our lecturers run successful research labs and publish in international and nationally recognised journals. And we also have lecturers who have been recognised nationally for their teaching inspiration. And what does that mean for you? Well, you'll get the best of both worlds. And also, if you spend your final year project in one of our active researchers labs, you might even generate data which is of sufficient quality to include on a publication. And I've included here some examples of students indicated in red who have got their names onto publications. And this is a fantastic achievement because it really makes your CV stand out from other students when you're applying for jobs or for PhDs afterwards. Our students also compete in national competitions as well. For example, the Green Gown Awards, which are awarded for sustainability excellence. And this is Hannah Sellers, one of our former students, who won this award for her research looking into the insect population on plants in campus and comparing natural growing species with those that have been planted for their aesthetic qualities. And in fact, her findings have influenced the planting on our estate. So you'll be paying a lot of money to come to university, so you want to make sure that at the end of your degree you're going to find employment or further study. So to support our students, we in Biological Sciences have a seminar programme called Careers After Biological Sciences, where we invite alumni back to tell us about their career paths, how they got onto their career paths, what the career involves, and offer support. These are just examples of some of the recent speakers that have delivered to our students. So what do our students end up doing? Well, we're delighted that 97% are in employment or further study 6 months after graduating. And we tend to find that around half of our students go on to further study, which might be research at PhD level, MSc level. Some go into teaching, law, medicine or dentistry. And around the other half go into careers which either involve science or are respectable careers such as marketing, finance, management, for example. So if you come to Leicester, you've got a very good chance of being successful and in being employed when you finish. So finally, when you get your grades in the summer, if you've not quite met your asking grades, don't worry, we may still accept you. And if we can't accept you onto our Year 1 Biological Sciences programme, and that's what you've applied for, we may be able to offer you a place on our foundation year instead. So thank you for listening. There'll be a live chat session from 12 till 2 on the 4th of April, and I'll be there with colleagues to answer any questions along with a student. If you can't make that session and you still have questions, please email them in to bsadmin@le.ac.uk. And although we're not currently at the university, we will answer your questions remotely. So thank you and hope to see you in September.